song complete, so we've got to make some adjustments here.
And while I'm doing that, I just want you to know I love
The song that he just sang. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. It's a wonderful version, but it just touches something in me this morning. Because what it's getting at is no matter who we are, where we are on the journey, we've got to let that light of love that is in us shine. And I can hear folks out of my tradition just singing that word, those words over and over again. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. As I sort of prepare myself here, pick up my glasses, one of the things that I also know is that a song, I'll start this way. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. I also know that a sacred song is worth 1,000 prayers. If you find a sacred song that the saints of the ages have been singing over and over and over for hundreds and hundreds of years, you've got to know that there's power in that song. And with that said, I've got to share another song with you. We've heard the words here, but I've never heard it sung. And it's simply called Namaste. Just bear with me. I don't profess to be a professional singer, but I profess to sing and to speak from my heart. Namaste, Namaste, my heart singing, Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste, Namaste, Namaste. Will you try saying that with me? Namaste, Namaste. My heart singing, Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste, Namaste, Namaste. Put on my glasses. Reverend Sharron tends to speak extemporaneously. I do that, but I also take notes. And I may veer from my notes from time to time, but I take notes because I want to make sure that I'm being as accurate as I can. For those of you who are online, on behalf of Dr. Sharron, I want to say welcome to the Interfaith Spiritual Center. As was announced earlier, my name is Perry Lang, Reverend Perry to many, and I am delighted to be here with you today. Each week, Dr. Sharron stands on this stage with grace, style, and candor, and reminds us of our deepest spiritual truths, truths that undergird and transcend all religions. Timothy Freak, in his book, Encyclopedia of Spirituality, says this: there are different rivers running to one sea. Each tradition has its own way of seeing reality, its own conceptual language, its cultural biases, its particular history, and its own great saints and sages. One philosopher put it this way: there are many lamps, but one light. Another author said, there are many wells, but only one river. Theologian and mystic Howard Thurman said this: the truth is not true because it is found in a religion. The truth is found in that religion because it is true. Did you guys catch that? The truth is not true because it is is found in the religion, but it is found in the religion because it is true. Each tradition, therefore, has something valuable to offer us. And it reminds me of a Hindu teaching story about a chameleon. 3 men went into the forest. The first man saw a chameleon and he came out and he said, "You know, I saw a chameleon and the chameleon is red." The second man came out of the forest on a different day and he said, "You know, I saw the chameleon and the chameleon was green." The third man went into the forest. He came out and he said, "Nonsense. I saw the chameleon and the chameleon was brown." Those who disagree about the nature of God are like these 3 men. So no matter what tradition you come from, no matter what color your chameleon is, you can light your lamp in this place. You can drink from the well in this place, because in this place, as Dr. Sharron would say, God is no respecter of persons. God pours out knowledge and blessings on the Jew, on the Muslim, on the Christian, and on the Buddhist alike. We are metaphysicians. We look beyond the physical. We recognize that our reality is less about the external and more about the internal. It's an honor to be here with you today. I want you to know that. Because in preparing for today, it allowed me to go into my secret place, to turn on my light, to read the books that have illuminated the world from the other great sages over time. So I get the blessing just by coming in to speak. And in the tradition of my forefathers, I stand before you as did the psalmist, and I recite these words. Let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O God, my strength and my Redeemer. Before I get into energy awareness, I really want to just thank Dr. Sharron for this opportunity. And I trust that she is having a wonderful journey and finding time to relax. She deserves it. And I'm not using that as a simple platitude. She really deserves it. As I was thinking about our talk today, I decided to go back and take a look at some of the many sermons and talks that are now part of her archives. And I was moved by her commitment and devotion to espousing the universal truth principles, which touch all, regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, or political affiliation. I can hear her now, offering quotes or insights about universal truths. Some of the truths that I listened to this week that she was espousing, I can hear her standing here and saying, joy is the infallible sign of the presence of God. How many know she loves that quote? She quotes Sharron, joy is the infallible sign of the presence of God. She stands here another week, and then she says, we must have self-love because we can't give something that we don't have. We must have self-love because we can't give something we don't have. She stands here another week, and she says, death is not the extinguishing of the light, it is the turning off of the lamp. Every week, she stands and she offers words of wisdom and spiritual truths to anchor our lives. And I'm talking about for those who are in the sanctuary and for those who are online. In my eyes, to my way of thinking, She is akin to John the Baptist, or she was to John the Baptist what John the Baptist was to Jesus. John the Baptist was a voice crying in the wilderness that the Messiah was coming. Dr. Sharron is a voice in this desert that is Palm Springs, and she's crying out that the Messiah is coming. Indeed, the Messiah is you. The Messiah is coming, and indeed, the Messiah is you. I'm grateful for her today because she reminds us that we have to remember the same universal principles as did the master teacher Jesus, as did the Buddha, as did the prophet Muhammad, and others. How refreshing it is to come to this desert and to find a well of truth to quench any spiritual thirst. This is who we have in Dr. Sharron, a friend at the well of truth, and we thank God for her. While I embrace New Thought, science of mind, unity, and Christ's universal temple, I also have an appreciation for ancient wisdom traditions espoused by Rumi, the Buddha, and others. I come to this way of life by way of Baptist and Pentecostal traditions. So please know that I'm okay if you say amen every once in a while. And if you don't feel like saying amen, you can wave your hand, you can nod your head. And quite frankly, whether in the sanctuary or online, you can still do it. Because if you don't do it, I will do it for myself. Because my Bible tells me that if we don't give God the honor and the glory, the rocks will cry out. Are you with me, church? If we don't give God the honor and the glory, the very stones will cry out. And I can't have rocks crying out in my place. I'm going to cut through a couple of things here. Our brand of metaphysics is for grown-ups. And if you're not ready to eat solid spiritual food, you just need to continue to have a parade. And that's okay. But as practitioners of metaphysics, whether Christian, Muslim, or Jew, we take responsibility for how we respond to life. And we embrace the opportunity to look beyond conditions and circumstances and see God in all things. Did you catch that? We take responsibility for how we respond to life, and we embrace the opportunity to look beyond conditions and circumstances and see God in all things. Ernest Holmes, as we get to the topic, says in the Science of Mind textbook on page 53 that there is one life back of everything. There is only one energy back of all that is energized. The energy is in everything. The energy is in everything. They're telling me my time is running short. But I want to make sure that we all get this. So I want you to bear with me and keep praying with me. After graduating from religious science practitioner studies, I attended the New Thought Theological Seminary in Atlanta, where the deans used to always say there are three critical paths for exploring and understanding the divine. There's the path of awe, there's the path of mystery, there's the path of reason. Awe, mystery, and reason. And awe simply means I can look at the mountain, I can see the ocean, and I'm just inspired. And I appreciate the reverence that is there. The mystery is simply saying, I don't know why yellow and blue make green, but it does. I don't know why a butterfly can flap its wings on one side of the world and impact the other side of the world, but it does. The mystery, folks that are treading the path of mystery, they're not concerned so much with the why, but they have an appreciation for the truth that is in the mystery. And then there are the folks that come to God through the path of reason, where science and math meet philosophy and logic. I don't know how you come to this thing called God, but whatever the path, we all want to get to the same place. Because the folks that are coming from the path of reason, they recognize, as Einstein did, that the atoms and the molecules and the electrons, they're in all of us. So they could see God in everything. The folks that come through the path of mystery understand, as Paul understood, that we live, move, and have our being in this thing called God. You with me, folks? It doesn't matter what path you come from. The notion is to understand that we are connected to something greater than we are. We are connected to something bigger than we are. And through that connection, I am connected to you and you are connected to me. That's the awareness we're talking about. That's the energy awareness that Reverend Sharron is sharing. That energy is in all of us. I had one teacher, because I didn't understand the concept when I first got into this movement. She said, I want you to take a flip chart of paper, and I want you to put dots all over the paper. And I just went to the board and I put dots all along the paper. And she says, I want you to draw a tree. And I drew a tree. I want you to draw a man. I want you to draw a sun. I want you to draw a cloud. And the notion is that on this flip chart of paper that represented the universe, all of the dots were there. And all of the dots represented the substance that is God, the energy that is God. And we must have an awareness that God is in the tree, God is in you, God is in me, God is in the rock, God is in the sun. The same God is in everything. And it is from that place of recognizing and knowing that we are connected to everything, that we can have more compassion in our lives, that we can have more empathy in our lives. The energy is everywhere and all around us. I think that energy, that awareness, is underscored when we think about fellowship, when we think about what the Christians say. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Or what the Islamists say. Wish for others what you wish for yourself. Or what the Buddhists teach. Treat not others in ways that you would find hurtful. Or what the Baha'is say. Desire not for anyone the things you would not desire for yourself. Energy awareness, the consciousness of connectivity and oneness, can lift us up to better experience compassion, empathy, and more of life. My prayer or my affirmation today is that we continue to recognize and know that there is an energy and a power that responds to our thoughts and our prayers, and that same energy connects us to all there is. In this world and the world to come, this is a high calling. This is a high calling, and it is for each one of us. And as Dr. Sharron would say, this is a high calling, and where do we want to go? Higher yet. And where do we want to go? Higher yet. Because we are in a high place, and we will not